compliance with the request of a friend of mine, who writ me from the East, I called on good-natured, garrulous old Simon Wheeler, and inquired after my friend's friend, Leonidas W. Smiley, as requested to do, and I hereunto append the result. I have a lurking suspicion that Leonidas W. Smiley is a myth, that my friend never knew such a personage, and that he only conjectured that, if I asked old Wheeler about him, it would remind me of his infamous Jim Smiley, and he would go to work and bore me nearly to death with some infernal reminiscence of him as long and tedious as it should be useless to me. If that was the design, it certainly succeeded. Hello there, sir.
Oh, why hello, son.
I've been commissioned by a friend of mine to make some inquiries about a cherished childhood friend of mine, Leonidas W. Smiley.
Well, I don't know about no Leonidas Smiley, but I sure do know about a Jim Smiley. Why just sit down, son?
Well, if you could tell me anything about this Leonidas Smiley, I would feel many obligations to you.
Don't you worry, I will.
Thank you, sir.
Now, this Jim Smiley, he would bet on almost anything. Anything that moved. Anything at all.
But anyway, he was the curiousest man about always betting on anything turned up you ever see. If he could get anybody to bet on the other side, and if he couldn't, he'd change sides. Anyway, that suited the other man would suit him. Anyway, just so he's got a bet, he was satisfied. But still, he was lucky, uncommonly lucky. He most always came out winner. If there was a horse race, you'd find him flush, or you'd find him busted at the end of it. If there was a dog fight, he'd bet on it. If there was a cat fight, he'd bet on it. If there was a chicken fight, he'd bet on it. Why, if there was two birds sitting on a fence, he would bet on which one would fly first. He even seen a striped bug start to go anywheres. If he would bet on how long it would take him to go wherever he was going to. And if you took him up, he would follow that straight-up bug to Mexico. This year Smiley had a mare. The boys called her a 15-minute nag, but that was only in fun. They used to give her 200 or 300-yard start, and then pass her underway. But always at the fag end of the race, she got excited and desperate like, and come cavorting and straddling up, and skying her legs around limber, sometimes in the air, and sometimes out to the side amongst the fences, kicking up more dust and raising more racket, with her coughing and sneezing and blowing her nose, and always fetch up a stand just about a neck ahead, as near as you could sight her down. And he had a small little bullpup that to look at him you'd think he wasn't worth a cent, but sit around and look ornery and lay for a chance to steal something. But as soon as money came up on him, he was a different dog. His underjaw began to stick out like a Forecastle 11 steamboat, and his teeth would uncover and shine savage like furnaces. Andrew Jackson was the name of the pup. Andrew Jackson would never let on what he was satisfied. And then all of a sudden he would grab the other dog just by the joint of his hind leg and freeze on it, not chew, you understand, but only just grip, and hang on till they thronged up the sponge if it was a year. Smiley always came out winner on that pup till he harnessed a dog once that didn't have no hind legs because they'd been sawed off by a circular saw, and so he got shucked out bad. He gave Smiley a look, as much as say his heart was broke, and it was his fault for putting up a dog that had no hind legs for him to take hold of, which was the main dependence in the fight, and then he limped off a piece and laid down and died. He was a good pup, was Andrew Jackson, and he would have made a name for himself if he lived. Well, this year Smiley had rat terriers and chicken cocks and tomcats and all kinds of things till you couldn't rest, and you couldn't fetch anything for him to bet on, but he'd match you. He catched a frog one day and took it home, said he calculated to educate him. So he never done anything for 3 months but sit in his backyard and learn that frog to jump. And you bet he did learn him too. He gave him a little punch behind, and next minute you'd see that frog whirling in the air like a donut, see him turn one somersault, or maybe a couple. And if he got a good start, came down flat-footing and all right like a cat. Jumping on dead level was his strong suit, you understand. And when it came to that, Smiley would ante up money on him as long as he had a red. Smiley was monstrous proud of his frog, and well he might be, for fellas that had traveled and had been anywheres all said he laid over any frog that ever he could see. One day, a fella, a stranger in the camp, he came across him with another frog.
Well, what's that you got there?
A frog?
So it is. What's it good for?
It's a jumping frog. Jump better than every frog in Calaveras County.
Well, I'd like to bet on that, but I ain't got a frog.
I'll get you one. Hold mine. There's one! I got you one. Set him up right there. The four prize, even with Daniel Webster's. Well, I give the word. 1, 2, 3, jump! Darn it!
Well, I don't see nothing special about that frog.
Dang it! There's lead in him! Hey! Hey, stranger! Oh, dang it, he's gone.
And then he see how it was, and he was the maddest man. He set the frog down and took out after that fella, but he never catched it. And...
Hey, Wheeler! No, dang flabby. Wait just here a minute, stranger. Rest easy. I won't be gone but a second.
Wheeler, one of the men fell off the tray carts and got their leg chopped off.
Oh, hell!
Really, couldn't they just been like, what's
Oh, people always falling off trees. Oh, stranger, wait just a minute. This your Smiley, he had a yellow one-eyed cow, and it had like no tail and 3 legs, and it was set like a banana.
Oh, hang on, Smiley, and your afflicted cow. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Strangers.
What's that you got there?
Frog.
So it is. What's it good for?
The jumping frog. You jump higher than every frog in Calaveras County.
Well, I'd like to bet on that, but I ain't got a frog.
I'll get you one. Hold mine.
What you got there?
My frog. You can jump any frog in Calaveras County. Oh my God.
What's that you got there?
It's a frog.
So it is. What's it good for?
It's a jumping frog.
What's that you got there?
A frog?
Tina, what you good for?
What?
What's that you got there?
It's a frog.
So it is. What's it good for?
It's a jumping frog. Quinn.
What?
Well, no, not like that.
Well, what's that you got there?
The frog.
So it is. What's it good for?
The jumping frog. Jump out of there across Calaveras County.